What's up, everybody? It's Ivan with Trouts Fly Fishing, back with the Trouts Fly Fishing Forecast, the Triple F, care of old Brady Jones, who left that comment. I might just shorten to the forecast in every video, but for the time being, we are renaming the Bi-Weekly Fishing Report and Forecast, and we're just going to call it the Fly Fishing Forecast. Keep it simple. Shout out to Brady for keeping it simple. There are a couple really good ones in there. I think there are over 80 plus comments, so certainly appreciate everyone dropping suggestions. There's some ones I wish I could use, but frankly don't want to work that hard, so some of them I had to pass up. I'm going to go through and highlight a couple of ones I really liked. Actually, no, screw it. We're just going to read them all. Woo! There it was. That was all the 82 comments or whatever that was. Certainly appreciate everybody dropping a line, letting us know what they think. Honestly, from my perspective, I was super blown away by the number of people who wanted random stuff from my desk, and also the number of people who actually actively engage with this. So with that in mind, these from here on out, I'm going to put a little bit more effort into these. I'm going to light myself well. I'm going to give you fly picks. I've printed out the weather. So put a little more effort into these. I'm not just calling a couple guides, talking to friends around the shop. I'm going to put a little bit more effort into these, and I hope you guys appreciate that. So with that in mind, I've put together a couple prize packs. So I'm going to give out a couple. So obviously, Brady Jones, you're the grand prize winner. That means you get the Sims hat, a Umpqua LT standard fly box, and care of good friends at Yellow Dog Providence, which is a pretty cool DVD. So there you go. Brady, we'll be in contact. The other picks we're going to do, so there are a lot of suck-up picks, and I wanted to shout out all the suck-ups, including West Slope Yvonne, who also is an Yvonne. Thanks for all the shout-outs, but Josh Mickelson with the living in Yvonne down by the river. Look, I'm a sucker for puns. Josh, you're going to get this hat, this here DVD, and a little prize pack from Umpqua. It includes a bug locker, and some nippers. So there we go. That goes out to Josh, living in Yvonne down by the river. And then I also wanted to shout out Phil. Phil gets a prize pack for being mean. Phil, for being mean, you just get a DVD. So Phil, DVD on us. Shout out to you. And then there were a couple other good ones that I really liked. The Weekly Trouts Forecast, or WTF, that also gets a Providence DVD, and an Umpqua prize pack. So that's Spade Bit TV. And then one last prize pack goes out to, where was it? The BFW. The Unfussy Splash, BFW, Bugs, Flows, Weather. I thought that was a good one as well. So Unfussy Splash, you also get a little prize pack, care of Umpqua and Yellow Dog. So thank you to everybody who dropped their names down below the last video. Certainly appreciate it. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully we can provide some value to you guys going forward. So let's start with the actual fishing report. All right. Now that we have all the naming stuff out of the way, I wanted to get to the nitty gritty. I sort of think I'm going to take a different approach with the forecast as I have in the past. So instead of rambling on, just sort of letting all my thoughts go, I've gone and talked to head guides, gone and talked to people on the floor, taken some information from what I've been out there doing. Instead of doing sort of that stream of consciousness thought, I'm going to be a little bit more pre-planned. So, sort of taking an ode from the old Bugs, Fish, Weather report. What was that? Yeah, Unfussy Splash. We're going to sort of reformat what this is every 2 weeks. So we're going to talk 3 different sections: bugs, flow, and weather. So let's start with the bugs. Let's start with the sexy stuff. Let's start with the bugs. With, let's say, it's February. It's going to be cold. We're in midge season, but we're going to start to see stoneflies molting a little bit, and take that into account on the tailwaters to a certain degree, but then most definitely on freestones, especially the Arkansas, which is going to get a little bit warmer earlier than, say, the Colorado or the Eagle. So with that in mind, it's going to be midges, small midges, 22s, 24s, blue-wing olives to an extent. They'll still be around. Those nymphs will still be around. So small blue-wing olives, 20s, 22s, and then attractor flies, stoneflies, attractor flies, San Juan worms, and the like. I have heard on good authority that with some of the warmer weather that we had last week, that there's been some really good dry fly fishing to be had on the South Platte, specifically Deckers and 11 Mile. So I've picked a couple bugs that will sort of cover the gamut. If you run into some dry fly opportunities, whether you're fishing freestones or tailwaters alike, I've picked, it turns out to be 13, which is a pretty odd number, but 13 flies that I sort of caught my eye, things that I would recommend having in the box over the course of the next couple weeks. So without further ado, let's start it off. So we started off with the wired stonefly. As I mentioned, wired stonefly, or stoneflies are molting. Having a stonefly through the winter is always a productive big meal to throw at fish. So the wired stonefly makes the list. Another fly that we actually just did a tying video on, you can check that out over there. The jigged Frenchie. This is a different version than what Eric ties, but same basic concept. Jigged fly, so rides hook up, and then it's a skinny body, so that fly's going to get down. It's going to get your other flies down, and fish are generally going to be at the bottom of the river. Unless it's super warm, they're not going to be elevated. Unless they're rising to dry flies, they're going to be at the bottom, sort of cruising, least amount of energy possible. And so you want to get your flies down. The jigged Frenchie is a great option for that. And then a good attractor fly, the old reliable San Juan in pink. It's a little bit of a smaller San Juan. We don't have the lower flows that we typically see in the wintertime, but still sizing down worms can be a good option this time of year. For your sort of smaller flies, something I always throw when I'm on the Colorado, the Eagle, tungsten soft tackle PT. So this is, I think, a size 16, size 18s are pretty effective. You can get them on the dead drift, and you can also get them on the swing. So as your presentation comes to an end, you can sort of swing that fly out, and it looks like an emerging insect. Obviously a little bit larger than you'd see with your standard midges, but trout sort of triggers trout, and they can hammer those pretty well. So I always like throwing the soft tackle tungsten PT on my rig. Massacre midge from Matt McCannell. That's a good little midge. The Black Beauty in a tungsten variety. The Manhattan midge is always a good one. The Dorseys clearly know how to catch trout on the South Platte. Mighty midge from Matt McCannell. I've been unfortunately having a lot of success on Matt McCannell flies. I didn't want to catch fish on Matt McCannell flies, but I've been catching them on them, so I'm eating crow a little bit. Matt McCannell actually ties good flies. Oh yeah, by the way, he's doing a fly tying segment here in the fly tying class next week, next Wednesday, and then he's also doing a presentation in the shop on tailwaters top to bottom. So you guys should think about attending those. The Brassie's a classic in my opinion, should always be in your box. And then an RS2 sparkle wing in black. RS2s on the South Platte clearly are effective, and you should never not have those. Always a trusty go-to. So that's sort of a little fly selection. I also picked out a couple dry flies for midges. Keep it pretty simple. Eric's high-vis midge in 20, 22, and then a high-vis Griffith's gnat Javier's Aggressive Gnat, always a good trusty go-to in the size 22. So that's a little breakdown of the flies I would be carrying. Obviously, similar flies are going to work this time of year more than any. Presentation is more important. Getting your weight correct, getting your rigging correct. Fish aren't going to move a ton. You want to put it in their face. So fly selection is important. Getting your weight right, I think, is more important. So I'd like to think that weight's one of the more important things all the time, but in the wintertime more than any. Making sure you're getting their flies in their face, because they're not going to move a ton for a small midge. So I wouldn't run across the street for French fry, but if someone had a hamburger over there, I would. So they might run for the wired stone. They're certainly not going to run for the little brassy. All right, that's the bug section. Let's talk about flows and weather. So flows, as they're sort of looking at flows, the South Platte remains pretty high for the most part. Or not high, but elevated, so it's not at base flow. So above 200 below Cheeseman, above 100 on 11 Mile and the Dream Stream, which is always a good thing. Makes for productive fishing on those fisheries. With the higher flows on the Deckers section, I would not put as much effort on the early mornings. You certainly can still catch fish, but the fish are going to get more active. The bugs are going to get more active as the water heats up. So you're looking for warmer days more than anything. So warmer days are going to get that water warmed up. Those fish are going to react well. And so you try to pinpoint days when it's going to get into the 40s, especially on Deckers, Cheeseman, and the like. The freestones have dropped a little bit because I think this is probably, they all dropped overnight. I'm assuming that's because of the big drop in temps that we had. I think it was like negative 44 at Antero overnight. I'm sure it's pretty damn cold in Kremling. So, a lot of the flows on those freestones dropped. I'm sure they'll sort of bump up as ice starts to break free and you start to get a little bit of warmer weather moving through. But yeah, flows are pretty prime. You don't have to be crazy with your rigging. You don't have to do 7X in my opinion, you don't have to do 7X. 6X would be only if I have to, and 5X is what I'm going to be running to most of my small bugs. I'll use 6X if I can't fit the 5X through the eye of those small bugs. But the flows, with the way the flows are, it won't require as much stealth as it normally would when, say, flows the Deckers are at 50, and then you have to size down quite a bit. Those fish are going to be a lot spookier. So, yeah. I would do probably 4X to the lead fly, and then drop 5X. If I'm doing a triple infrig, 5X to the bottom 2 flies. Nothing crazy. I wouldn't do a ton of distance, but maybe 12 to 16 inches between flies, and keep them low, keep them slow. Yeah, there we go. So let's talk about weather. The final component. I looked at weather for over the next couple weeks at Deckers and Vail. Sort of give me a little bit of idea of what's going on. Deckers is showing that they're not going to get hit with snow, that big sort of storm that's moving through on Thursday and Friday. I've seen, I was watching the weather this morning and I saw there's a system moving through and we're still going to get snow here in Denver. So I'm not positive if I would take this forecast to the bank, which says it's going to be 42 on Thursday, 46 on Friday, 50 on Saturday. Maybe they're wrong. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think there's going to be a little bit of snow that moves through, but who knows? I'm not a weatherman. That's the great thing about this. If that weather holds, though, the Deckers section, 11 Mile, Dream Stream aren't supposed to get hit by that, according to this, aren't supposed to get hit by that snowstorm or that little cold front as much. So fishing on those will be a little bit more productive through the weekend. And then also through Vail, it looks like obviously they're going to get snow, and they're going to get snow through next week as well. But picking out days when it's going to be the warmest would be my sort of go-to. So if you have the freedom to go fishing during the week, fishing when it's going to hit 40 as opposed to when it's going to hit 29, that would be my sort of way I'd play it. I think there's going to be quite a bit of snow in the high country, sort of entering February and March when we get a ton of precipitation up in the mountains. Obviously is a good thing for snowpack. So, Thursday and Friday look like they're bringing quite a bit of snow to the high country. 7 inches on Thursday, 4 inches on Friday in Vail. But Saturday looks like it's supposed to be 38. So, testing out the, the Colorado, the Eagle, but making sure you're doing so during the middle of the day, like 11 to 3, as opposed to getting out there early. Would be sort of my approach. It's supposed to snow through the remainder of the week. It's supposed to be a little bit cooler. The freestones, one of my friends went up to the Colorado near Kremling, and it was tough fishing because there was quite a bit of ice. So I wouldn't expect that with the recent cold snap and maintaining some colder weather through the next week or so, that stuff is going to be cleared up. So pump house probably not the best idea, but if you go low, so especially on the Eagle, if you go low, generally stuff will start to open up a little bit faster. But yeah, there you go. There's the forecast for, what is this, February 6th. Hope you guys enjoy it. Hope it's not too long. Thank you for all the super sweet suggestions on the name. We appreciate it. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one in 2 weeks, because that's how this goes. Every 2 weeks we do this, the forecast, every 2 weeks. Arrivederci. Oh yeah, also if you want to drop some comments, like and subscribe, all that stuff, obviously helps the channel out quite a bit. I certainly appreciate you guys tuning in as you have. So yeah, hope you guys enjoy the new format. Obviously this is a ever-changing thing, and it will change a little bit over time, but I think breaking it down to bugs, flow, and weather is going to be the way to go. So yeah, appreciate you guys. Have a good one.